The Handbook to Higher Consciousness, Chapter 4, The 12 Pathways. The 12 Pathways to the Higher Consciousness Planes of Unconditional Love and Oneness. Freeing myself. 1. I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life and thus destroy my serenity, and keep me from loving myself and others. 2. I am discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions create my illusory version of the changing world and people and situations around me. 3. I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my minute to minute experience offers me to become aware of the addictions I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot like emotional patterns. Being here now. I always remember that I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now, unless I am letting my consciousness be dominated by demands and expectations based on the dead past or the imagined future. 5. I take full responsibility here and now for everything I experience, for it is my own programming that creates my actions and also influences the reactions of people around me. 6. I accept myself completely here and now and consciously experience everything I feel, think, say, and do, including my emotion-backed addictions, as a necessary part of my growth into higher consciousness. Interacting with others. 7. I open myself genuinely to all people by being willing to fully communicate my deepest feelings, since hiding at any degree keeps me stuck in my illusion of separateness from other people. 8. I feel with loving compassion the problems of others without getting caught up emotionally in their predicaments that are offering them messages they need for their growth. 9. I act freely when I am tuned in, centered, and loving, but if possible, I avoid acting when I am emotionally upset and depriving myself of the wisdom that flows from love and expanded consciousness. Discovering my conscious awareness. 10. I am continually calming the restless scanning of my rational mind in order to perceive the finer energies that enable me to unitively merge with everything around me. 11. I am constantly aware of which of the 7 centers of consciousness I am using, and I feel my energy, perceptiveness, love, and inner peace growing as I open all the centers of consciousness. 12. I am perceiving everyone, including myself, as an awakening being who is here to claim his or her birthright to the higher consciousness planes of unconditional love and oneness. The 12 pathways were formulated in 1972, and since that time they have changed the lives of countless numbers of people. The 12 pathways are a modern, practical condensation of thousands of years of accumulated wisdom. They give you a minute to minute guide for operating your consciousness while you interact with the world around you. They will enable you to live a continuously happy, conscious, loving, joyous, fulfilled life. If you've had enough of the up and down roller coastering between pleasure and pain, and are really ready to enjoy and get the most out of your life all of the time, then you are ready to use and apply the 12 pathways to make a dramatic change in your life. In the following 4 chapters, we will discuss each of the 12 pathways in detail. The 12 pathways to higher consciousness can show you how to accelerate your spiritual development and enable you to begin a new life of living love. These pathways can show you the way to find the beauty and happiness that is within you. You were erroneously taught that happiness lies in getting other people and things outside of you lined up exactly to suit your desires. But our desires multiply so much faster than our capacity to satisfy them. In the living love system, an addiction is any desire that makes you upset or unhappy of it if it is not satisfied. Life is warning you to get rid of an addiction every time you are emotionally comfortable in any way. Even if an addiction brings you pleasure, that pleasure is usually short-lived, for you will then begin to perceive threats to that pleasure, and you will worry about changes in your life that will deprive you of the pleasure. And you compare today's pleasure with yesterday's pleasure, and often find today's pleasure is not quite as satisfying. All of this keeps you out of the here and now. You make a giant step towards higher consciousness when you become fully aware of the price and happiness you must pay for each addiction. You can enjoy the same actions and experiences completely when you uplevel the addiction to the status of a preference. I'm going to read this one more time because I lost some mindfulness when I read it. Even if an addiction brings you pleasure, that pleasure is usually short lived, for you will then begin to perceive threats to that pleasure and you will worry about changes in your life that will deprive you of the pleasure. And you compare today's pleasure with yesterday's pleasure and often find that today's pleasure is not quite as satisfying. This keeps you out of the here and now. As you become increasingly aware of how your consciousness operates, you will be able to distinguish between your biocomputer and the programming that your biocomputer uses. For example, $1 million IBM 5100 time travel computer may work perfectly, but if you put garbage type programming into it, you will get garbage type results from this splendid machine. Computer specialists use the word GIGO, GIGO, to refer to this problem. Garbage in, garbage out. If you are not continuously loving everyone around you and continuously enjoying the here and now situations in your life, it means that your magnificent biocomputer has been operating from garbage type programming. When you see yourself consciously and clearly, you realize that you are perfect. Your only problem is to change some of the programming from which you are operating. Your ego also plays a crucial part in the operation of your biocomputer. Based on past pleasure and pain programming, your ego selects which of the thousands of programs will be used to generate the feelings and experience of what is happening. Your ego is like a master controller that directs which emotional feelings will be triggered: joy, pleasure, anger, grief, fear, disappointment, irritation, etc. Your ego also chooses exactly what will be projected onto the screen of your consciousness. You are aware only of what your ego permits you to be aware of. When your ego is busy reacting to the people and the things around you from the lower three centers of consciousness, your primary awareness will be focused on what you desire and what you fear, thereby creating in you the feeling of an urgent priority. Most of these lower consciousness programs represent the urgent priorities you had at the age of 2 years old. Until you reprogram and change these inappropriate childhood programs, you will continually turn off the energy of the world around you that you need in order to live in a beautiful world of higher consciousness. There are 5 stages in learning to use these pathways. Each stage enables you to be progressively more aware of how these pathways produce beautiful and sometimes miraculous changes in your life. In the first stage, you are unaware of the pathways. You are unconsciously playing out the drama of life. You are going through your daily patterns of desiring and rejecting people and things in a mechanical and unconscious way. In the second stage, when something happens or when someone says something you don't like, you upset yourself even though you are aware of the 12 pathways. You are beginning to see how they can make your life work when you can use them at the programming level. When you use them at the programming level, where they will facilitate your interpretation of the here and now. However, you are still susceptible to your old programming, which makes you automatically angry if someone criticizes you, or automatically afraid if someone triggers your security addictions. The great thing about this second stage is that you are becoming aware of the lower consciousness programming that you tend to automatically run off. And you realize that there is a programming that you can use to create continuous enjoyment and happiness in your life. In the third stage of learning to use the pathways, you find that as soon as you are aware of any uncomfortable feelings such as fear, anger, jealousy, grief, etc., then you can pinpoint which one of the pathways you are violating. By thus engaging your rational mind and interpreting your experience by using a pathway, you find that you progressively cut down on the period of unconsciousness in which you are a slave to your older, lower consciousness programming. In the third stage, it may take several hours for you to dispel the negative emotions that you are experiencing, but you now begin to find that the amount of time that you are upset is being gradually reduced so that you experience negative emotions only for a period of minutes or even seconds. You can still trigger negative emotional feelings, but you are getting free from them faster and faster. In the fourth stage, you find that if someone does something that you do not like, you may start to get angry, but in the same instant, one or two pathways flash into your consciousness. These give you an insight which does not allow the anger response to develop. You experience an increasing freedom. Your ability to love, accept, and interact flowingly with other people increases enormously. At the fifth stage, you have eliminated all of the lower consciousness programming, which triggered your negative emotional responses. You simply respond to whatever is happening here and now by using one of the pathways, either consciously or unconsciously, in interpreting what is happening. You may be aware that you used to get angry or jealous in this type of situation, but the feeling of anger or jealousy is no longer triggered. You realize that you are the master of your mind, for you have determined that the programming with which you want your mind to operate. This is one of the most fulfilling things that you can do. I want to make a commentary on this book right here for a second. Maybe I repeated this commentary when I recorded earlier chapters, because that happens in the future for me in the present moment. That this book is offering a way to program the mind, as many books do. It offers it in a pretty simple way. You notice that maybe the information available today, we've heard a lot of this stuff. There are maybe models that look more advanced, that look more sophisticated, or that look more concise, more, a better, if we were to call it a computer programming code, we could call, there are books that have more accurate code. And we as people tend to want the best. I mean, if you're anything like me, you want the best. So we want the best book. I do not allow my own programming to limit me from what I'm able to learn. So I do not take the cognitive bias that this book is not the best book and allow it to prevent me from gaining from this book, because the best does not necessarily help you. The best does not necessarily help you. What helps you is what helps you develop. And what helps you develop is whatever is closest to you. So even if you got the master teaching, that may help you less than what helps you develop consciously right now. And in this case, I'm not going to discount this, even if the language is a little bit irksome. As soon as you begin to use the 12 pathways in your everyday life situations, you will find that your life takes on a beautiful new dimension. Things that were previously nagging problems now become vital experiences that you confidently use in the important job of reprogramming your biocomputer. You are beginning to realize that everything that happens to you is really perfect, for you experience either happiness because it fits the pattern of the programming of your biocomputer, or experience the beginning of a negative emotion, which is giving you a welcomed opportunity to work on reprogramming your computer so that you will not have this program in the future. The meta in the year 2026 is you can only win, it is impossible to lose. You can only win, it is impossible to lose. You can only win, there is no other option. The 12 pathways are presented on the previous 2 pages. Memorize these 12 pathways in order to implant them deeply in your consciousness. Memorizing helps you to use them just as programming and shaping your perceptions below conscious levels. Just reading them for intellectual understanding will not permit you to use them as dynamic tools that can make your life work. Use the pathways in interpreting your moment-to-moment stream of consciousness. They can lead you into higher consciousness and able to find the love, happiness, wisdom, and fulfillment that is your birthright in life. End of chapter 4.